Most people imagine that becoming a millionaire requires a brilliant idea, extraordinary talent, or a lucky break. But when researchers began studying wealthy individuals, they found something far less dramatic. Many millionaires drive ordinary cars, live in ordinary neighborhoods, and follow routines that look surprisingly boring from the outside. No secret formulas, no magic investments, no overnight success. Just a series of habits repeated so consistently that their impact becomes almost invisible. And that's what makes them dangerous to ignore. Because while most people spend years searching for the one big thing that will change their lives, millionaires often win through dozens of small behaviors that compound quietly in the background. The question is, what are these habits? And why do they seem so insignificant in the moment, yet so powerful over a lifetime? When people imagine a millionaire, they often picture someone living in a mansion, driving exotic cars, and spending money without thinking twice. It's an image reinforced by movies, social media, and popular culture. But when researchers began studying real millionaires, they discovered something surprising. Many of them didn't look wealthy at all. This idea became famous through the book The Millionaire Next Door, which examined the habits of affluent Americans and found that many wealthy individuals lived far more modestly than people expected. In many cases, their neighbors had no idea they were millionaires. That raises an interesting question. If wealth isn't always visible, what actually separates these people from everyone else? The answer often isn't found in dramatic actions. It's found in quiet habits so ordinary that they rarely attract attention. The first is that millionaires tend to think differently about status. Most people use money to signal success. A nicer car, a bigger house, luxury brands, the visible proof that they're doing well. Millionaires often reverse the equation. Instead of using wealth to look rich, they focus on becoming rich. That distinction sounds simple, but its effects can be enormous. Every dollar spent on appearance is a dollar that can't be invested. Every attempt to impress others comes with an opportunity cost. Over time, those costs compound. And compounding is where many millionaire habits become powerful, because wealth creation is rarely driven by one extraordinary decision. It's usually the result of hundreds of ordinary decisions repeated consistently. Take saving and investing. The habit itself isn't exciting. There's nothing glamorous about automatically investing a portion of your income every month. In fact, it can feel insignificant. But over decades, small amounts invested consistently can produce results that seem almost unbelievable. The key isn't intensity, it's consistency. This is a pattern that appears repeatedly among self-made millionaires. They often avoid thinking in terms of quick wins. Instead, they focus on systems, automatic savings, regular investments, controlled spending, long-term planning. These habits remove emotion from financial decisions. And that's important because emotions are often expensive. Fear causes people to sell investments at the wrong time. Excitement causes them to chase trends. Impatience causes them to abandon good strategies before they have time to work. Millionaires aren't immune to emotions. They're human. But many create structures that prevent emotions from controlling their decisions. Another quiet habit is how they think about income. Most people focus primarily on earning more money. Millionaires often focus on keeping and growing the money they already earn. That sounds obvious, yet many high-income earners never become wealthy. Professional athletes, entertainers, executives, lottery winners. History is filled with examples of people who earned fortunes and later lost them. Income creates opportunity. Habits determine what happens next. This is why wealth and income aren't the same thing. One person earning $70 a year can quietly build substantial wealth over time. Another earning $300,000 can remain trapped in a cycle of spending. The difference often comes down to behavior rather than earnings. And perhaps the most overlooked habit of all is patience. Modern culture encourages speed, fast results, fast growth, fast success. Millionaires often benefit from understanding that wealth is usually a long game, a process measured in years rather than weeks. They recognize that most valuable things, investments, businesses, skills, relationships, require time to develop, and while others become distracted by shortcuts, they continue doing the ordinary things that gradually produce extraordinary outcomes. The fascinating part is that none of these habits look remarkable in isolation. They seem almost too simple, too boring, too slow. Yet that's exactly why so many people ignore them, and that's also why they work. Because while everyone else is searching for the next breakthrough, many millionaires are quietly following a completely different strategy. One built not on dramatic moves, but on silent habits that compound year after year. One of the most persistent myths about wealth is that millionaires possess something most people don't: a higher IQ, exceptional talent, perfect timing, special connections. And while those factors can certainly help, They don't fully explain why some people steadily build wealth while others struggle to keep what they earn. Because if wealth were primarily about intelligence, every genius would be rich. And if it were primarily about talent, every gifted individual would become financially successful. Reality tells a different story. The gap is often created by behavior. Specifically, behaviors repeated over long periods of time. Consider two individuals with similar incomes. The first spends almost everything they earn. They upgrade their lifestyle whenever their income rises: a better car, a larger home, more expensive habits. From the outside, they appear successful. The second person does something less exciting. They invest consistently, avoid unnecessary debt, live below their means, focus on acquiring assets rather than appearances. For years, there may be little visible difference between them. In fact, the first person might seem more successful. But wealth doesn't reveal itself immediately. It accumulates quietly. Then one day, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. This is one of the reasons silent habits are so powerful. They're difficult to notice in the short term, but impossible to escape in the long term. And the same principle extends beyond money. Many millionaires have a habit that rarely gets discussed. They are intentional about where they place their attention. Most people treat attention casually. They give it away to notifications, endless news cycles, online arguments, and distractions that provide little lasting value. Millionaires tend to view attention differently because attention determines decisions, and decisions determine outcomes. If someone spends years learning valuable skills, studying businesses, understanding markets, and improving their judgment, the results of those decisions compound over time. Meanwhile, someone who spends years distracted by things that don't matter may never realize what they've lost, not because they lacked ability, but because they lacked focus. Another habit that separates many wealthy individuals is their relationship with responsibility. Average thinking often looks for external explanations: the economy, the government, bad luck, other people. Millionaires tend to focus on what they can control: their actions, their habits, their skills, their decisions. This mindset doesn't guarantee success, but it creates something incredibly important: agency. The belief that your choices influence your future, and people who believe they can influence outcomes tend to behave differently than those who believe everything is outside their control. Over time, those differences compound. That's really the theme running through almost every millionaire habit: compounding. Not just financial compounding, behavioral compounding, knowledge compounding, relationship compounding, decision compounding. Small actions repeated consistently until the results become extraordinary, which is why the habits themselves often appear unimpressive. Reading for 30 minutes, investing regularly, controlling expenses, learning new skills, protecting attention, thinking long-term. None of these actions will transform a life overnight, but that's exactly the point. Millionaires rarely build wealth through dramatic moments. They build it through years of disciplined behavior that nobody notices, until eventually everyone notices the results. And perhaps that's the most important lesson of all. The habits that shape your future are often the ones that feel insignificant today, because success is rarely determined by what you do once. It's determined by what you do repeatedly. The silent habits that separate millionaires from everyone else aren't secret. They're visible to anyone willing to look. The challenge is that they're usually too ordinary for most people to take seriously, and that's why so few people benefit from them. Now, I'm curious about your perspective. Which of these habits do you think has the biggest impact on building long-term wealth? Patience, attention, responsibility, consistent investing, or living below your means? Let me know in the comments below. And if this video made you rethink how wealth is really built, subscribe and join us for more deep dives into the psychology, habits, and hidden principles that shape success. Because sometimes the smallest habits create the biggest futures.